Hello, everyone. This is Rosario Aurelius. Welcome to Atana. Today, I will be reading a selection of poems from the first Absolutely Poetry Anthology. Absolutely Poetry features excellent work from poets around the world. The Absolutely Poetry Anthologies donate the sales of every book sold to Save the Children, an organization that supports the needs of children around the world. So without further ado, let's dive into the work. The first poem tonight is called Troop Ship by Kenneth Wheeler. Crowded decks on a troop ship in 1948. On Liverpool dockside, a voyage to partake. Found our mess below decks, on our hammocks high. Soon the call for evening meal would keep us occupied. Our request to go on deck was summarily denied, so thus we lost the pleasure of saying our goodbyes. Kept below decks like children upon a naughty step, our destination yet unknown, feeling out of our depth. As the ship let slip, I quietly let out an inward groan. The question in my mind was, when would I make it home? Later still aloud on deck, black as pitch up there. But oh, how good to breathe in that refreshing ocean air. And as the lights of England shone their farewell out there in the stillness of that silence, I offered up a prayer. As with so many young men down throughout the century, leaving their homeland to serve their king and country, not knowing what would lie ahead or what the future held. The war was over, yet there was still unrest to be quelled. In so many distant foreign lands, that's why we had to go, Middle East or Far East, we really did not know. We called in at Gibraltar and then on Malta. Rapidly next stopped, Port Said in Egypt, then on to Tripoli. I spent so many months there in the barren desert sand, but all the time my heart was yearning for my homeland. I Once Heard a Man by Rennie. I once heard of a man who was revered as divine, born to be human with a beautiful mind. So few around him really listened. He believed in a beauty that could never be found, yet his call to duty would forever resound. His legacy will be your mission. He died for all the others, and they all died for him. Wept 'neath his tower as the nails pierced his skin, fastening his place in your history. I was told of his father, who no one could see. He sent his son so that you could all believe in a better world that you're seeking. I know of his story, I've heard that it's true. I've heard of his glory, that's it for me and you. And I've seen his believers weeping as I've gazed on the heavens. And it's made me cry, I've counted my sevens and tried to divide them all from his holy teaching. I'll crawl up the mount and stand where he stood, demand and shout, he was misunderstood. Waiting there for all the believing. Me and the Moon by Georgia Florence Hutchings. There is a shimmering string from me to the moon. That's where the man lives. and I reckon my Nan lives. A child's smile when I look up at its rye glow. Only me and the man know. I can fly up there, let's go. It's quiet cold once you get there, so take your big coat. It's so still, though, and you don't actually float. There's just a chair and a remote. You watch the world go by, view all our mistakes through a scope. I'll sit nice and still and wait for somebody to come. I'm happy up here. I'll wait for the man. Or if I sing our old song, maybe my Nan. Now that would be nice. Tea and a slice. A catch up and giggle me and Nan on the moon. Pull back on the string and fly back down here for tea. It's easy, you see. Wave goodbye to the man and my Nan. Float down on the string with its tinkling jewels. As earth comes in sight, see the fields and the schools. I suppose good old earth ain't as bad as they say, but I prefer the moon and my Nan. And the man in the know. It's great on the moon. I can fly up there, you know. Forget Me Not Blue by Rhiannon Owens. You wore a dress. You told me the shade was cornflower blue, but it reminded me of the blue of forget-me-nots, the dreamy blue of that summer with you. A blue ribbon on your straw hat, as blue as your eyes were not, in color or expression. Dark with love and want, how could I not? We lay together in the licking rays of the sunshine, the hat slipping, blue ribbon tangled in dark tresses. My hands tangled as our lips met. We moved together as one. Such sensations, none of them blue, yet that was the color of me and you. This feeling as I looked into those eyes that were not, swimming in emotion, and you kissed me gently and said, "Forget me not." I sit in my garden under a vast blue sky. I see the cornflower dress in my mind's eye, and you with your eyes that are not are clasping a bunch of sweet blue forget-me-nots. To your heart and your eyes are like stars. How could I ever forget? I wouldn't forget. I have not. A Sultry Serenity by Adam Chamberlain. I casually crash by the great sprawling ash, where the sunlight dapples in places to lie in the heat of my summer retreat, contemplating those green open spaces there relaxing at ease, in the gentle warm breeze, caressing my skin as it touches, hopping in the round, that the peace I have found shan't release me just yet from its clutches. With no thoughts while I breathe, or new goals to achieve, this freedom is so sweetly scented, much to my surprise. I slowly realize, for the first time, I'm feeling contented. I will do one final poem. And this poem was one of my own. It's called The Gift of Speech. Mother wasn't a fixture. She was a permanent possession. She had given her heart to God long before she thought to marry. As a girl, I thought her shrill, coarse, venomous. She sold me the lies of patriarchy, but she was something else. Her tongue was as sharp as a razor's edge, and everyone she bled. My aunt did the same. There was a sharp, terse nature of them in their cronehood, bitter as the winds upon the desert. The same gift fell to me, though I was sadistic with my razor-wire tongue. Thoughts trickled like rain upon my brow, and then the cruel gleam cast its shadows, like stripes on a Cheshire cat. Each of the words like affirmations of power stolen. We could rend all persons of the wit and confidence of their station, shatter ego with a sentence, induce blind fury in less than 3.5 seconds. But then I wielded those daggers carelessly, and witness to its wrath, I fell upon knives of sentimentality. As they pierced my heart, I felt sadness for the pain I had inflicted with the words of my power. I swore never again. Sun Tzu said, "Show weakness where there is strength." And the same man-child who swam in the river of blood and tears felt empowered as his power turned into entitlement. And he spoke words of cruelty and felt no sentimentality in my pain. These women of my youth were warriors of speech. They were Amazons. They were Scythian assassins of the human ego. I knew why they were shrill and terse. I knew why they were cackling like witches on a moonless night. We who understand the fiery speech and the razor tongue, we who understand no justice was ever won that wasn't paid for in blood. We have known the blood sacrifice was ours. We were priestesses once, until our countryside was raided and raped, our images usurped, and painted as tamer versions of ourselves. We were caged like animals. We were forced into silent roles, told how to think, act, and behave, thrown to the fires of Gehenna for challenging that speech, law, and code. We were called bitches and whores for creating our own roles. And then, when we rage against the dying of our light, we were called hysterical, that the lunacy had laid its claim like some devil who had stolen us away. I know why my mothers cackle like witches on a moonless night. Because my mothers were wolves like Fenris in Angerboda, who caught with their jaws the pulsing throat of men who couldn't tame them. We who were great queens, Gebira reigning in Gebura. Warrior queens whose fury and fire slay and tear down the thrones of all the kings of yesterday. I know why my mothers cackle like witches on a moonless night. Mothers who command respect among their children, not fear, raised to become poets, orators, successful and confident rebels of convention, who even in old age regard their mothers in love and treat women with respect as equals. I know why, because someday my mother knew I would come home to Jotunheim, to the wolf's den, to grandmother Siberia's hearth, and sacred fire, to use my voice and to speak my truth, to remember that I was always a child of the tribe, of the mothers who cackle like witches on a moonless night. This is a sample of the diverse talent found in this book, and in fact in both anthologies. If you enjoyed these, please check out the Absolutely Poetry Anthology, available on Amazon.com. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future readings, please include them in the comments section below. Thank you, and have a great day.